first recap of the trip was really only about the trip out there. Didn't really get much time to talk about the journey back home. So I decided I wanted to do this kind of a documentary style over the winter. Well, winter kind of got away from me, and the last week it's been really nice out. In fact, the last month it's been 50 or 60 degrees here and there. Lots of green out there, and I got the bike out of the corner, take her for a few rides. Still a little cold in the mornings to do full commuting, but she's been out a few times. I also put the snowblower away, and now, beginning of April in Michigan, we got about 4 inches this morning. So let me go take care of that. Maybe I shouldn't have put that away, that snowblower, so early. So we had a good family vacation in San Diego. Spent a week with the family doing vacation stuff. One of the days I just rode with him to work just to get some more time with my brother. You know, we rode. He showed me how to lane split. I'd kind of taken that on myself. As soon as I crossed the California border, I was looking for anytime traffic slowed 5 miles below this, 75 mile an hour speed limit. I was looking for that gap.
If the speed is kind of decreased to a point, or if the traffic is thick enough to a point where it's below 30, I'll split. That's about all the experience I have on it, because I'm not a native Californian. So.
Okay, let's call it day 5. As discussed in the preliminary ride on the way back, I was planning on stopping at several national parks: Grand Canyon, Monument Valley, Natural Bridges, Arches, and Rocky Mountain National. So I finalized my route and my Airbnb reservations were made, and it's time to head out. But before really getting underway, we had talked with Jay and decided that we were going to do a day brothers ride. Of the 500 miles planned from San Diego to Flagstaff to set up the next day for all the sightseeing, we got a short ride together. Took a little bit of time to get out of the city, but then we were in the mountains and it was really cool. We were headed to the border, and I was thinking that it might be kind of fun just to cross the border, just to get another country experience, but knowing I didn't have my passport, it probably wasn't a good idea. And at one point, we were still plenty clear from the border, and I saw all the cars the other way were getting stopped on checkpoint, and I was confused. I was looking at the GPS, wondering if we had inadvertently crossed the border and I was going to get in trouble by not being able to get back into the States, because like I said, I didn't have any of my documentation. A little ways down the road, we stopped and I asked Jay about it, and he was telling me that whether those are even legal or not, because you're not actually crossing a border, so the Border Patrol doesn't really have jurisdiction here.
The idea was that it would be cool to get down to see the wall, not Donald Trump's wall, but the wall that currently separates as a line of demarcation between Mexico and the United States. We went to one of the international border crossings and just kind of saw like there's Mexico on the other side of that kind of rather rudimentary fence, and here's the United States. And at one point a border patrol truck drove by, and
I'm like, Border Patrol, what are we doing? Mr. U.S. Navy here is like, hey, what's up? You gonna come arrest me? You got a warrant?
Maybe knowing what it takes to get into Fleet C and the Border Patrol, I wasn't all that intimidated. After we went to the border crossing, after we went to the border crossing, like we would agree to, like, we're gonna get to this point where we can either ride on and go to another communal point where it was like he could have just gone east and like began his journey back home, and I could have gone west and gone back home. Justin is like is quite obviously more comfortable on his bike at this point. I'm rolling way off the throttle. I might even be downshifting, trying to stay off the brakes entirely, but I might have hit the old rear brake a couple of times to kind of ease my way into some of these turns. Where we kind of stopped, and I think we grabbed a photo or something, and he was like, "Okay, you ready to get going?" And I was like, "Nah, I'm all right, I'm good." I'm not really feeling it today. I'm feeling way uncomfortable on some of these turns, and we're going way too fast. And so I basically pulled the P card, and we parted ways there, and I put my tail between my legs and I limped home.
You were working nights, and it was in the morning.
Don't you make excuses for me, man!
Jay and I parted ways, and I headed on some pretty cool back roads for a bit. The sun was coming up. It was pretty nice. Eventually, it was back to the slab, and out in the open desert. It was really warm again.
I had employed a beat the heat method on the way out using wet bandana around my neck, and that was pretty effective. So here I was getting ahead of the game, and I had soaked my bandana in water at a gas stop and put it around my neck. I was feeling pretty good despite the heat. Somewhere along that boring interstate, I felt something hit my neck, and I kind of looked back and then looked in the mirror to see what it was. I saw this like blackbird looking thing flopping around in the road. I thought, that was strange. That didn't hurt quite enough to be a bird of that size. Maybe it hit my shoulder or something, and the armor on my gear, I didn't really feel it. About 20 minutes down the road, I recognized that my neck was getting warm and my bandana wasn't there anymore. So that thing flopping in the road was my bandana. Further down the interstate, I came to an immigration checkpoint again. The whole highway was diverted to this toll booth looking area, and I was wondering what they might find on me to bother me about, maybe my earbuds. I turned off the music and pulled up to listen for instructions. The guy made some sort of a hand gesture, like kind of come closer, so I pulled up right next to him, and he kind of annoyedly looks at me and just go. Apparently there's no place to hide an immigrant on my motorcycle. It was pretty neat seeing the desert change into kind of a scrub desert. It went from absolutely no vegetation to some kind of sparse vegetation, a little bit greener. It was kind of neat traveling through that. Heading north out of Phoenix, the skies looked pretty threatening, and eventually they opened up. Thankfully I was close to a rest area, so I got off before getting too wet, but the wind was pretty tremendous. And then I was into the Red Rocks area. Back when the trip was just an idea, I talked to several people about getting different trip ideas about what I should do, where I should visit, and there was a suggestion to take 89A from Sedona to Flagstaff instead of the Super Slab. A little back road instead of a Super Slab, don't have to tell me twice. Especially I pulled up the map and looked at all the squigglies on the way. Here I was headed up some awesome sights and enjoying the road. I wanted to share a picture-in-picture of what the map looked like coupled with the view from the road, so I made a homegrown capture of my GPS tracks highlighting some points along the way and tried to sync that with the road footage. Took a long time, was really a pain in the butt, but I got it done. Then I found there's an app for that. So a bunch of time trying to figure that out. A couple of clicks with this other software, Dashware, and I had exactly what I wanted. I checked into my Airbnb, looked up some dining options in Flagstaff, and seeing it was still pretty early in the afternoon, I headed back towards 89A for a couple more passings. Time to get some dinner, and I enjoyed the Beaver Street Brewery. I had also seen another brew pub in the area, so then I headed to Mother Road Brewery, and that was just an awesome pub. I had a good time there talking with the bartender. Back to the Airbnb place, just settled in for the night, got to sleep, knowing that tomorrow was going to be a pretty fun day with lots of sightseeing to do.